should have you do our theme song.
Why would you change this theme song? This is
Is it a banger?
You can do like a remix.
I could if you want me to, but check.
It runs in the successfully unsigned family, my friend.
What'd you say?
It runs in the successfully unsigned family.
Oh yeah,
What does?
rapping.
Over the intro. This man right there behind the cameras does it with the two fingers right there. Does it on every episode that happens at my house at Studio Shack.
Yeah.
So he's got the exact same thing down pat. You know,
We in the
exact same
shack.
lyrics.
Is that what
Then
it's
on
called?
track.
Studio Shack?
Studio Shack.
How did you arrive at that name?
So my
Plot
last
twist. This interview is me interviewing you.
So my last name is Shackelford, but that's a lot to say. So I usually just say, Shack a lot of times, or my artist name is Dale Shack. So when I bring people over to my house to record, I just call it Studio Shack.
Nice.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. It's fun stuff.
I mean, you have to have a name for the studio.
Right? Yeah. Like Capitol Records. There's another one called, I just recently heard about called the, what is it called? I done forgot what it's called.
Welcome to
that.
Successfully Unsigned.
Hello, everybody.
We are here with Quinton. How do you say your last name? Oh, never mind. Dale just
Dale.
shut you up.
Could have taken off.
That's called an analog mute.
Could have taken off a body part. Pronounced Kufahl.
Kufahl. Okay.
Maybe I've been saying it wrong, but
is
that's
it?
how I've been saying it.
Is it? Like,
Some people say Kufahl.
Is it like I don't know.
So I'll be honest with you. I've never met my grandfather
Okay.
who had that last name, because my grandmother was remarried a few times.
Okay.
So, and then he passed away. So
Okay.
I didn't get to meet the birth blood grandfather. So I have the name of a man whose blood does not run through me, because actually I told the story wrong. So actually my father acquired his last name because he was his stepdad. My last name should, to my knowledge, really be Owens, if we're going based on blood. But
Okay. No, it's cool.
I'm kind of glad it's not Owens, because it just doesn't.
No, Quinton Owens. That makes you sound like, I don't know, you should be in
Well,
library.
I probably wouldn't be named Quinton then.
Okay.
What would you be
because-
named?
I don't know.
Take a
Owen.
guess.
Owen.
I don't know.
Owen Owens.
Owen Owens.
Owen Owens.
Oscar.
Phillips.
Or some O name.
Oscar Owens.
But
Honestly, that's kind of a cool
my
name.
parents were very particular about the k sound. Quinton Kufahl.
Okay.
My brother's name is Colin.
Okay.
So they wanted that hard K kind of sound.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking of hard Ks, Quinton here is an original member of the Kiss band.
okay, I'm not really the original member.
No,
of
he is. You
the-
look really good for your age, for being, what, how old
being
are they? Like
74?
70?
Kicked out every other single member as you took each one of their places one by one, right?
Yeah.
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 I did.
Yeah. We
well-
have this on tape, my friends.
If I was actually the age of the guy that I impersonated when I was in a series of Kiss tribute bands, he was born in 1945. So where would that put me at? That'd put me at 77?
Oh,
And you have great skin for 77. We're going to be doing a skin commercial right after
Well,
this.
Neutrogena.
Right.
Neutrogena.
Yeah. Splash
Is that your
water on the
secret?
face.
Is that your secret?
Yeah. The grapefruit scrub that you would apply to your
Yeah.
Did
I
it
know
have the
what you're talking about.
pomegranate in there too? Grapefruit and pomegranate?
I have not
No? Oh.
tried that.
Okay, so Quinton is not a part of the original Kiss band, but we'll get into Kiss later. But
Because he likes kissing. This Quinton guy,
he just loves it.
Yeah.
Just
anybody on the street, the
Everyone,
janitor who was
just-
over here, just
planted one right on him. I don't know if you can you see the drums in the back? I don't know, probably not. But anyway, Quinton here is another artist, and we have been here for hours on end. He has been complete diva and just ruining our day. So we almost didn't even do the interview. No, we've actually had a lot of fun with him, and we're just gonna get right into this interview. It sounds like you've done interviews before, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But this one's gonna be your best one yet. Just so you know.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, it has been the best one yet, because most interviews are just me, like, either over FaceTime or something talking. And they're relatively short, but I got to like hang out with you guys. So like we developed a comfort level.
Yeah.
And you also got to record me in this beautiful studio.
Absolutely.
And dude, like even without mics on, those drums in that room
sounds great.
just sound great. And they make you play a certain way. And you're not supposed to play soft in that room.
No, it's a studio. You can't play soft.
Nope.
I mean, if you can't hear it all the way down the hallway, then you're not playing drums right.
Is that what they teach here?
No, but that's what I say here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what you tell drummers?
No, I usually tell them to play quieter.
Do you really?
No, I have
What? Well, so which is it, Dale?
everything.
Are you
everywhere,
gaslighting?
all at once.
Always.
Always.
For us being unprofessionals here on Successfully Unsigned, that's our tagline. Professional advice from unprofessionals. We're looking pretty professional today. So we basically have made it, and this will be the peak of our. Actually, this is the end. We're done after this.
This is the end?
Yeah, forever.
What, was this discussed in a business meeting
Nope.
I was not a part of? Or
Nope.
is this on the fly decision?
Okay. Anyway,
Okay, that's true.
Well, how
So-
else are you going to have a successful reboot 10 years from now?
oh
Right.
right,
if you
right.
don't end it at some point.
Right?
Exactly. So I guess we should like talk about you since you're here.
Talk about me. What do you want to know?
Well, like I'm gonna ask the basic question that I literally ask everyone. What was your start? Tell us your origin story, the beginnings of you loving music, and you loving drums, and take us all the way back. Cue the flashback music.
Is there
Do it.
flashback music?
Not that one.
That looks like that was music that sounded like I was searching for something.
There we go. Okay, we're flashback. We're in young Quinton's
Young Quinton,
world.
Sweet baby Q.
That's cute.
No one has ever called me that.
Oh.
I call myself
Like I'm picturing like a little baby with like a little like
with
rocker
a little
wig.
bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's,
Yes.
Next
Get that
to him.
barbecue.
and it's I don't know, who knows. This never happened. Man, let's see. There's a series of things. My father was, I would say, the most integral part of that
Okay.
the inception of music and drumming. Mm-hmm. And that's because when he was younger, he was playing drums.
Okay.
But he didn't really have the ability to stick with it. So when my brother and I were born, Christmas of 2000, I would say, actually, let's back up. St. Nick of 2000, the year 2000, in our stockings, we got bootleg VHS tapes. One was of Van Halen on the Balance tour, and the other was of Kiss on the Farewell tour.
Solid.
How old were you?
Okay.
5. My brother's
Great
4.
gift.
That's amazing.
It's a great gift.
That's
So where I'm
amazing.
going with this is that we didn't put in the Van Halen one in particular. I think my dad knew that the Kiss one was really going to strike a chord. So
Yeah.
I do remember the VHS had some backstage footage. So at the time he had been kind of hyping like, hey, this Kiss band, and probably played us some songs or something, but it didn't really like register. So there's some backstage footage, and you get to see these guys in their makeup and costumes, and you're just walking around like, this is just so cool, man. Because like it's in a bright white room, you can see everything kind of clearly, but it's a bootleg and it's from 2000, so like the quality is not there. Either way, show starts and they are like, there's a kabuki curtain and it drops, and then you see them suspended, like cascading from the ceiling, and sparks are flying off, and just everything's blowing up. And how at 5 years old can you not be just awestruck with seeing that?
Oh yeah.
So was this the first like album or musical experience for you that you're like, this is awesome? Like,
Yeah.
As a little kid, this was kind of your introduction to like music is awesome. Like getting like a piece of music like that, or
I would say so.
okay.
I think it's more so my dad's very enthusiastic. So I think my dad would more so just when Peter Criss was shown in this concert, he's like, "That's the drummer. That's your guy." Like,
So you were already drumming at
I
this
was
point?
not.
Oh, okay.
Because then Christmas came along and then a drum set appeared.
Okay.
And not one of those like rinky-dink first act kits.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like a small Catalina Mapex kit, red sparkle, like that an adult could play if they decided, but it wasn't like a piece of junk or like Toys R Us or anything. So it all kind of came together in 2000 of like, here's a drum kit that you can just beat on. And then here's this Kiss band. By the way, here's Van Halen. But Van Halen in 1995 for the Balance Tour did not look like Van Halen as we all like picture Van Halen, where it's like bright spandex and hair down to their shoulders. So not really appealing. Like Alex Van Halen, who's the drummer, had like a neck brace on and had a Fu Manchu mustache and short hair, and like was probably, to my knowledge, the most underwhelming drum kit he had ever had. And that's no disrespect. It's just like he's had some crazy drum sets. So 5 years old, you're going to favor the band that's falling out of the sky
Right.
with sparks and fireworks and stuff, and they got makeup
crazy
and costumes
costumes,
on, and this guy's sticking his tongue out, and you're like, you're fast forwarding to VHS to get to the fire breathing part and the blood spitting part, and like the drummer's levitating and crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And huge drum set as well. It was white. And
So do you feel like your dad, in a way, like had he already kind of been, not pushing you to play drums, but had he already been like, oh, don't you think drums are really cool? Or were you just kind of like, oh, I want to do what my dad did? Or was it a mix of both?
well, to this day, I don't think I've ever seriously seen my dad play drums.
Okay.
And I don't get that. But he'll watch this too.
He's
So
actually coming in right now. Can you come?
Oh, really? Hit that applause button.
It's like an episode
Mark!
of Mari coming in.
Mark, you made it. Why didn't you tell me? But he watches all this stuff because he's a great dad.
Oh,
but
of course.
I've never seen him play. Don't know why. He's probably shy. Who knows? But I mean, he more so encouraged it. But at the time, to be completely honest, I was more interested in wanting to be Batman and like play with Batman action figures.
that's
Because
fair.
you're 5
That's
years
fair.
old.
Right.
Batman's
right.
awesome at that age.
Yeah, and that is way more appealing than like practicing drums and everything.
Okay, so let me ask you this: at that age, which Batman?
That's tough. Gun to my head. Can I say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that wasn't. Gun to my head, I would say, believe it or not, George Clooney Batman.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Period.
Well,
Period.
Interesting.
There
Why?
are many things why. Because that would be the most recent movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
There was still residual of all the toys at, like, if anyone remembers at KB Toys, Toys R Us, and it was just the residual. It was around more. Like, you'd see posters. You'd go in like a comic book store and there would be all the memorabilia and swag and all that. So, but then visually, I mean, again, like, everyone hates on Joel Schumacher movies, but they are really like the comic book out of the page.
They have an aesthetic to it.
Like all the neon and all these huge, like, naked statue props. Like, they're driving on the hand and everything. Do you remember that? No? All right. So if I
been a
remember
minute
that,
since I've
3
watched that
people
Batman
were going to
movie.
remember that. But but then you're like, man, Poison Ivy? Like, and Mr. Freeze is like blue and sparkly.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
that's
just
true.
the like, and all the colors. And you got Batgirl in there too. And it's just,
Alicia Silverstone.
yeah. And you go, You're like, wait, Quentin, weren't you 5? Yes, I was 5. Yes.
So what Batman would you choose now?
It's tough because I like them all for a different reason.
Okay.
But I'll say Adam West. And that's an unpopular opinion.
I'm with you on that.
Because, I mean, Michael Keaton is a very close second.
He's a good Batman.
It is a very close second. Batman Returns, best Christmas movie out there. So, but Adam West is, as we were saying before we were rolling, he is like the hand, like the arm around your shoulder, like, I'm going to like look out for you.
Yeah. Like the first episode still strikes me every time when I go back and watch it because, you know, he goes to a nightclub, right? He's after the Riddler. He goes to a nightclub and the bartender asks him, "What'll it be tonight, Batman? Will you have something?" And he's like, "No, I'm on duty. Justice never sleeps," or something like that. And he's like, "I'll have a chocolate milk." And that line kills me every time. I'm like,
does he do the Bat-Tusi?
he does. That's that's the episode that was created with the whole like, you know.
Great.
I love it.
It's wonderful. I do distinctly remember that episode, the very intricate elephant mask on the Riddler.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Such a good episode.
I love that you still love the same things of when you were 5, but just like in an elevated version. Like you still you have your Batman patch.
Yeah, there's a
somewhere on
couple.
there. Okay, and I mean have talked about Batman a lot tonight, and obviously you still love drumming. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be here.
Well, we got Peter Criss here, so
yeah, I do want to do a fit check later, so just be prepared for that.
I should have brought my smoke machine. We could have did a whole runway,
like lights. You know, honestly, it'd be great. Little fashion show. So I also want to talk about Phase, which when did you release that? Is it pretty recent, right?
Yes, that would be. You know, I should know, but I want to say it would be. Was it July 1st?
Okay.
June 1st. Start of summer. We'll say.
Okay.
And, I mean, what is there to know?
Tell us everything.
I guess my question is, I don't know anything about drums, obviously. So what does it look like? What does the writing process look like for a drum solo song?
Okay.
Like, do you literally just wing it and just go for it? Or are you like, no, we're going to figure this out?
Well, today it would be past tense, we'd be weighing it. And as you guys found out, it's like, no, let's try another take. Can we try another take?
Right.
And I try to have something prepared. But even for Phase, it was kind of a take after take thing because you never can predict a stick click. You can never predict when one's going to just fly out of your hand or have a wing nut pop off. But for that particular solo, I wanted to do something that was not what I had typically done before. And what I typically favor with drum solos is a lot of tom-tom action and a lot of like double bass-y things, because most people kind of favor the opposite. They favor you'll punch in like crazy drum solo on YouTube and you'll get a guy that's like doing a lot of cymbal work. That's where we're at with music, in my opinion, from what I see. And all my favorite drummers are more, we're going to hit all the drums. And so let's set up a giant drum set and hit all the drums.
Okay.
But I wanted to kind of change it up, and I thought, I called a good friend, and I said, what would you want to see out of the next solo? I have some ideas, but I just want to see if you're thinking the same thing.
Okay.
And he's like, I want to see something more beat-based. I want to see something that's, you know, maybe more of a song, not just a guy where it's like one thing to the next thing, and it's, I don't know. Again, not like something you've done before. Like, okay, so we'll do a drum beat type of thing. And I had been experimenting with, what would you call it? It's kind of funk, but it's not really, and it's kind of like fusion jazz, where it's very intricate, like hi-hat and foot snare work, and that's your core drums. And then from there you can kind of flourish on the other cymbals and drums. But I'd been experimenting with this pattern, and I would throw it in when I would do some covers in the past. And I really liked where it was going. I thought, what if I just build a solo around this?
Okay.
And then inevitably, it went from being a drum beat solo into, well, I'm going to hit all the toms now.
Okay.
But the process of getting there was much different.
Okay.
And I think that achieved what I was going for.
Okay.
Because it wasn't how I typically write solos. But where am I going with this? So I had the beat and I thought, okay, what can I do to vary up the beat? Because in all honesty, it's the same pattern pretty much over and over again. And I build it a little bit more than the previous measure. So it's experimented with that a little bit on the electric kit, and I'd go on like walks or runs and keep thinking about it, and like I'd write down ideas. And I'm big when I do drum solos on writing like lists of what's the order that this is going to go in.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean I write sheet music, but I'll come up with parts like main beat. Okay, main beat with tom-toms. Main beat with China cymbal.
Okay.
Fill. And then I'll like come up with a name for fill. So like rim fill, and then hi-hat fill, and then cymbal fill, and then regular fill or something, or linear fill. And I'll know what that means. But it just helps me kind of know the flow, because I'll watch the paper when I play and then rehearsing it.
Yeah.
And then I'll record myself. I'll go, like that was 6 minutes. And I personally don't think I could hang with it for 6 minutes.
Right.
Just watching it.
Right.
And I really like what I do. But so like, all right, and then I'll listen back and go, okay, well that could be shorter, and that could be shorter. And that was long-winded. What was the original question?
Well, I was just asking about the process. I was just really curious about it because I like I said, I don't know anything about drums, but even like watching the music video and thinking about it, like, I guess more, okay, if I'm putting myself, is this almost like, do you try and promote this just as like, yeah, this is what I do, or do you use it more as promotion for like people that want to hire you, or you're just like, hey, this is what I do and this is my music?
So the goal for the solos, and I call them like drum solo singles, because I don't know, it's an extended title, you know what it is, and that's fine. But the idea was, I love drum solos. Like growing up in school, the talent show circuit, as I call it, was very real. Once a year, that's your time, man.
Yeah.
that is, and it was like make or break, right? Like, oh man, I hope they pick me. And it's like, of course they're gonna pick you, because you're like, I don't know, like they picked you last year. So like,
yeah.
And it was always a thing. Like, well, what am I gonna do this year? And I kind of got away from it because I got busy with being hired for bands or something like that. And we had time in 2020, so you start thinking, you're like, oh, I'm kind of bummed, you know. And I thought, let's do a drum solo. I haven't posted one on YouTube for, at that point, it had been 5 years.
Okay.
Like, well, I've learned a couple new things in 5 years.
Yeah,
so
hopefully.
Let's do one. And then having done that first one, I went, I could do more of these. Like, I could do themes, and I really love themes. So then I did one, what does a chopper sound like? Like, what does a motorcycle chopper sound like?
Okay.
On drum.
Okay.
And then also calling it chopper, it's like there's helicopter choppers. So that was a theme. And then the phase theme was, you know, the drum beat type of thing, but also paired with this drum set that I had that was black and white striped.
Which, yeah, I wouldn't
And
talk about that.
if you like Batman Returns and like Michael Keaton Batman, it's made by Tim Burton. So like love Tim Burton. And he uses the black and white thing going on. So it has this, well, then I started thinking, who composes for Tim Burton? Well, Danny Elfman composes for Tim Burton. So Danny Elfman favors the whole upbeat. It's like a Beetlejuice kind of thing. He does that a lot. All right, so we're going to... And it's got that uppity vibe. And then... But to answer your question, it was meant to be a personal thing. Like, I'm bored, and I need something to do. I need a project to do. And at the time, I wasn't really like in a band, and I couldn't be in a band because we were all in a pandemic.
Right.
Like, well, I got time to think. Like, let's do a drum solo. And the theme for the first comeback one was like on an electric drum kit. What can I do on an electric drum kit that I could maybe not typically do on an acoustic drum kit?
Sure.
So you can do super fast stuff, and like, all right, we'll do super fast stuff. So, But then in turn, it's also meant to be a sort of showcase of, hey, band without a drummer, if you want to work with me or have me in the band, like, this is what I'm going to bring.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Here's some crazy fills. Here's some crazy beats. Here's this, hopefully a cool video.
Yeah. Oh, so cool.
It's
so
like,
cool.
it has some imagery involved. Like, we could do a video in a storage unit. Like, oh, I never thought of that. Like, I guess we could. Or we could do a video under a freeway bypass. And we could also record under a freeway bypass. And that's going to sound wicked.
Yeah.
Or I do these other things called dual drum covers. And the idea is you get a drummer and another drummer, and you don't face off per se, but you're playing a cover song and you're just shredding over it, like obnoxiously shredding over it.
Okay.
But maybe not obnoxiously, but throwing your own flavor on it.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a break. And during the break, we trade twos, we'll trade fours, we'll come together, play together, something that works cohesively but sounds like an octopus is maybe playing drums, because you got a total of 8 limbs going at the same time, and then we're back in the song. And it kind of is that old school jazz vibe of like, we're on Johnny Carson and tonight we have Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa and they're gonna like do their thing, but we're taking it and doing it modern. And with that too, it's again like, here is visually and artistically what I could bring to the table if you wanted to have me in the band. So I've done one in a studio, like a furniture studio, but the idea was like, or the gimmick of it was a blacklight video.
Okay.
And that kit under blacklight looks really weird, like in a cool way. But did like some blacklight makeup, wore all white and everything. And then another video was just like in an industrial kind of place, just straight up like rock video. And then another one was in front of a haunted house, and a haunted cathedral.
Okay.
For like the band Ghost. They're a Halloween-y
Love that
kind of band.
so
like
much.
that's disrespectful to say, but they're a theatrical rock band. So naturally around October, you're kind of like, yeah, I like Ghost. If you're not like a hardcore fan. So
They got a theme about them. They got their own vibe.
But either way, like, cool settings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully bands see that.
Yeah.
And so far so good.
Yeah, well, even just we were watching the Phase music video. I watched it a few months back when we had first talked, and then we were watching again today, and just like, it's just such a cool video. Like, I want to get more into your aesthetic later on, but just the aesthetic of it, and then like the blurring that you were doing with it was really cool.
Thank you.
Do you have the same person doing your most of your music videos, or okay?
Well, the agenda with Phase was, I had just moved here, and a big box I wanted to check was do a drum solo with creative people based in Nashville. Okay. Because I'm new here. I don't know anybody, and no one knows who Quinton is. Yeah. So I did a tour in 2022, the fall of 2022, and that band at the time was meeting with producers for their next EP or album. So we stopped in Nashville on a day off, and we met with a couple different people, and one of them was Joey Burcham. And at this point in the day, I think the band was just kind of burnt out, because they had meetings with, I think, 2 or 3 other people. But I'm like, well, we're meeting up with this guy. Like, we should probably get to know this person. Now, I'm not in the band, but I just like meeting people. Right. And I felt like I was the only person asking him questions. And I'm not trying to like interview him, but like, this guy's a busy person, assumably. So make it worth his while. Right. And when I visited with the prospect of moving here, I hit him up and said, if you want to get coffee, like, it would be really good to see you. And we met up and got coffee, and it's like, would you ever want to do that? He's like, dude, I thought you would never ask. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, man, I want to shoot, like, record a solo of yours. Yeah. Like, right on, brother. So seed planted, and then I moved here, and he really helped orchestrate the whole thing, because his studio is located at a facility called
That's a great name. How do you spell that?
Yeah, it's spelled C-L... Classic 77 creative company.
Okay.
And they're a big warehouse. And there's some engineers over there who have their small studio space. But then otherwise, it's a big, like, TikTok
Gotcha.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or facility to create TikToks.
Yep.
So because that's a facility there, he knew the videographer, who's Ray Alley, and he's like, you should really hire Ray for this video. I'm like, all right, I'll talk to Ray. So we got coffee, and like super duper nice guy. And understood what I was talking about. And one of the only people who I've worked with who actually went home and said, I'm going to make you like a mock version of what you're aiming for, just so we know that we're on the same page. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Like, you're going to put in time. Like, I haven't thrown down any money for this.
So as an artist, how valuable do you think that is?
That's super valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, is it like, should you do that all the time? I don't know. Like, for instance, if someone asked me, hey, Q, can you play drums on my song? I probably wouldn't go home and like send them like what I'm thinking.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
You know, but when you're in the studio, you do your take and go, here's what I was thinking. And then, well, I don't like that, so let's change this. And like, then you can do edits and everything. But
Right.
like the idea for Phase was such a very intricate idea that I think that had to happen. And I didn't ask for that, but I was super appreciated.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the flange effect on the music. Because it's a throwback to Peter Criss, and most drummers in Kiss have used that. That's kind of their thing. It's a very 70s thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it fits with the kit because it's from the 70s. But I thought, what would look really cool with a flange thing? And my fiance is a professional photographer, so she had taken photos of me before where she would layer an image and offset it.
Yeah.
And it's super cool. But she would then change the coloring. So like you'd have a blue
so it
cue,
pops.
a red cue, and a yellow cue.
Okay.
And it's like layered like that.
Yeah.
It's just wacky stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
And like, how can we do that but with video?
Yeah.
And someone goes, I mean, quite frankly, I don't know. Ray was really impressed with the photos, and I think he was probably thinking initially, I don't know how she did that with the photos, let alone how we're going to do that with video.
Yeah.
But he figured it out. And where am I going with this? But yeah, that was valuable.
Nice.
It was just nice.
Yeah.
Because most people, I feel like, just, I don't know, dread like doing these solos or something. Maybe that's just a self implanted thought.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I can speak for us here. We had a blast, I think,
Thank you.
recording this. And I
Yes.
really hope that, here later this week or whenever this comes out, that, when people watch it, they see kind of the passion that you put into this. 'Cause this is really fun.
yeah.
Yes.
Really fun.
Okay, I'm really excited to talk about just kind of how you have done this process, and just you are a really good example of like what we talk about on the show. Like you are a really good example.
Okay.
But we'll take a really quick break and come back to that. Circle back around.
Have you been enjoying Successfully Unsigned? Then check out all of our other content on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and everywhere you can stream podcasts. Don't forget about our exclusive artist interviews and performances right here with Successfully Unsigned. Join us and like, comment, follow, subscribe, share with all of your friends, and tell us what your thoughts are about being an artist in the music industry.
Do you guys remember that SNL skit with Jimmy Fallon where he's the radio host? And
No.
I haven't watched a lot of SNL.
It's not. This is like old SNL.
Yeah.
But he is on a radio show and he just yells, "And we're back!"
There we go, and we're back.
Are we back?
Are we
the shack.
going?
We're going now, doing it now.
Okay.
Cricket.
Anyway,
Where's the crickets, man?
yeah. Come on, David doesn't know.
Where's
how to
those
do the show.
woo girls?
Where's the woo?
Woo!
You need
What?
to get one woo girl.
Hey,
all
Chuck.
we need is Patrick to say it.
No, that's not
That was lame.
that ain't woo girls. The words need to be more slurred.
All right. Hey, everybody. We're back successfully unsigned. So
That's good.
whenever you're ready, we're gonna get
Speaking
this.
Being successfully and being unsigned. Actually, I don't know your life, but
I'm pretty successful.
well, I meant unsigned. I don't know.
Oh.
I'm assuming you're
I am unsigned.
okay. So there we go. Successfully and unsigned.
Fit the bill.
He's literally the perfect candidate, but actually, so you were just talking about when you were telling that story about just your bandmates were all just kind of like, meh, whatever, and you're like, no, like we should actually talk to this guy. Like that is something that we've talked about so much. It's just like the importance of networking in any job, really, but especially in this industry, and taking those opportunities and like look what came from it. Like you're like this super cool story. And one of the things that we were talking about beforehand, we were asking like, oh, like, do you do anything outside of this? And you're like, no, just drums. And
As far as for work, like you have a
Yes.
life outside of this, I'm sure. But we're
no, he literally is attached to his drumsticks
Drummers,
24/7.
Not much of one. It's Batman, Kiss, drums.
Batman kisses drums, or
It's not in that order.
Kiss Batman's drums.
oh,
I don't think I would do that because I feel like I get beat up by Batman.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
want to kiss Batman. That's not my agenda.
But if you kiss
But
Batman's
kisses
drums,
Batman's drum set would be pretty amazing.
oh, the bat drums.
You
you
need a bad
imagine?
drum set.
Yeah,
It'd be amazing.
we need to draw that up somehow.
So we did already talk a little bit about like, you like making your way as an artist and doing that full time, which like is seriously, I mean, the goal of a lot of artists. And so can you just kind of talk about like your motivation with that? And like, I'm sure it was a lot of hard work. And I don't know, like, do you have a story behind that, or what advice would you get? We're getting professional advice today from a professional, not unprofessionals like us.
Everyone's a professional, but I think when you asked the question, I thought back to first grade. And in first grade, I had this teacher named Ms. Burdick.
Shout out to you.
Shout out. I run into her sometimes.
Oh, shout out to you.
Not down here, but
yeah.
where I'm from in Wisconsin. And in her class, she had a huge word spelt out on the wall, and it was perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the year, that was the goal. You had to spell perseverance. And that
you
was
do
her
it?
thing, is like, you have to spell perseverance to graduate. And like, this is not what was that?
I said, can you do it?
We could try. Perseverance. So Perser. Ver.
Never got out of first grade.
ENCE. I probably added an R, didn't I? We're here because I can
Oh,
count
wait.
to 4 really well.
I think it's ANCE. I started being like, I know how to spell it, and no, I don't. I
Can you
write
check, David?
it. Yeah.
I
know if I wrote
this
it
is a
out.
musician's podcast, not a spelling bee.
This is embarrassing.
Thankfully.
Did
Thankfully.
you graduate first grade?
I did.
Okay. Okay, how did you spell it?
I just did Perser. I probably lost right there, right?
Yeah. Persev.
Perseverance.
RANCE.
I already forgot all of that.
Yeah. So sorry
here's
to
actually-
miss what's her name.
Ms. Burdick?
Yeah, he failed you. Sorry.
First grade was a long time ago,
Well,
like 20 years ago.
That's a big word for first graders
It
to
was.
That
spell.
is.
If you really think
That's
about
a big word.
think about these dumb first graders now, no, kidding.
I mean, they may be able to spell better than
We're
you.
just goofing around. Can that camera see me? We're just anyway. But I think about that, and like, strangely enough, that came to mind right now.
Okay.
But perseverance, just like trying, but also a lot of hard work. When I teach drums, I tell my students, how much do you practice? Or I don't tell them, I ask, how much do you practice? They're like, yeah, like 30 minutes a day. I'm like, how bad do you want to play drums? Do you just want to do this for now? Or what's the goal here? And now granted, not every 12-year-old student has the the idea of I want to play for like Bon Jovi
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
So naturally, you're not going to want to practice
Right.
for like 3 or 4 hours a day in your basement. That's scary.
Yeah.
And then like your parents will come down, do laundry, and then go back upstairs and then forget that you're down there somehow, and then shut the light off with instinct. And then because you're afraid of the dark, you're like, ah!
It feels very personal.
And then after that,
Really
you
specific.
continue on with the routine. But it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I never thought at the time that it was like work. It
Yeah.
was just what I wanted to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, I had the type of parents that were in middle school, like, yeah, you're not going out. Like, they were kind of maybe helicopter-y.
Uh-huh.
No
Chopper.
disrespect. That's actually where Chopper came from. It was just,
Childhood
No.
trauma.
yeah, it finally bubbled up. No. I have great parents, by the way. But where am I going with this? Gosh, you guys, you rascals. It's just a lot of hard work. And
Yeah.
again, like, you got to want it.
Yep.
But
Yep.
this really doesn't feel like work. Like, the work portion of something like today was me loading my car with drums.
Right. Right.
And otherwise, everything else is like, the work maybe is what am I putting on the drum kit, which took some work
Right.
and some concentration, but that, you know,
Something you enjoy still, though.
something I enjoy. But it's just,
So what about, we just had an episode on writer's block, and so
I'm having writer's block trying to answer questions because I can't, I clearly can't focus.
But obviously, like, if you're doing this full time, how do you make sure you don't get burnout? How do you make sure that because this is a very creative job, and so that's hard. So how do you like keep yourself going through those times where like you're struggling maybe creatively?
I will answer that question, but I want to backtrack and try
Okay.
and cover the last question.
Yeah.
Just like looking for stuff, like looking for opportunities. Look on Craigslist. People dismiss Craigslist and like, oh, it's this, that, or the other thing. I'm like, yeah, it is this, that, and the other thing.
It is a little
But
scary.
there are diamonds in the rough there, and there's opportunities, and maybe you have to put the ad on Craigslist. It's funny to me. I'll scroll on Craigslist and I'll see band looking for rock drummer, and then I'll look at the next post under it and it says rock band or drummer looking for rock band or something. And I'm like, seriously? Like, but then people just like think that by putting it out there, like that it's just gonna find you. Like, I don't know. Like, if you put an ad on Craigslist, maybe check Craigslist once a day.
Yeah.
And then you would see that above you, a rock band is looking for you, the rock drummer, or vice versa. And like in some of these chats that I'm in with Nashville, I see people say all the time, like, you'll see a posting of, hey guys, I need a drummer for a country gig Friday night. And that's about it. And then you'll get guys, you'll say, interested, DM me.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't you just go to the artist? Like, how bad do you want the gig?
Right.
Take the
And there's-
initiation.
And
Yeah.
a lot of times, I don't know, it's just, that kind of baffles me. And you don't have to like annoy somebody either, but just maybe say like, hey, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Shot you a
for sure.
message, and then send them a message.
Yeah.
And like maybe add some context to it, like, hey, I saw your ad in Yep or whatever. Could you tell me more? I'm very interested. By the way,
Oh,
here's
wait,
like
that
my
sounds
EPK.
so familiar.
Yeah. Or here's like my YouTube, so you can
Yeah.
understand what type of player I am. Here's what I also look like, and here's what I sound like. But like, if we backtrack and we follow the story of Baby Q, Sweet Baby Q, I did the talent show circuit. I had my own band in middle school because Guitar Hero was very popular. I'm like, well, we can be the real Guitar Hero.
I love that. I love that.
And then high school hit. I'm like, well, I didn't stick with that band. And I started up a different band. And we would do, at the time, it was really healthy. Like, we had a lot of bands in high school, like rock metal bands, and metalcore was a big thing. So everyone of my friends was doing metalcore, and I'm like discovering what hair metal is. So I put together my own hair metal band, and it was great.
Nice.
Amazing.
It was fun. So we would play all these battle of the bands because a lot of the bands in school were like, we don't got places to play. So then the dads and the faculty and everything organized battle of the bands.
That's so nice.
And of all
That's
places,
so
a
nice.
library.
What?
Yeah.
That is metal. I love
our
that.
city's library was willing to host it.
That's amazing.
I love that.
Great.
It sounds like you lived in a nice little town.
It was a fine place.
That's nice.
You know, there's some bad, there's some good, but
Yeah.
that was the good. And like nowadays, I don't know, like I don't know of any like high school bands really that exist. One of my old students is in a very cool band, but I don't know of any other like multiple bands in one school. But at the time, I'm like, dude, I got the internet. I got Craigslist. And I looked on Craigslist and I found a band needing a drummer. And it was a Kiss band. I'm like, I am the guy. But if we back up before then, I was like 13 and I was taking music lessons at a music store, and I passed by and it said Kiss tribute looking for Catman. Like, this was like literally the peak of me in the Kiss fandom. Like I wanted that, but I'm 13 and like my dad called and was like, hey, look, my son like would really like to be in your band. And they're like, yeah, we're like 40. And that's kind of like, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Strangely enough, that same band on Craigslist put out an ad, and now I'm 17. So I'm like, well, I got balls. So I sent my own email, and it was the same band. And I sent a picture of me dressed up from like Halloween, and we did Halloween really well at my house. Like that was
Okay.
Yes.
we're a Halloween
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
And like, look, here's a clip of me drumming. I love Kiss. I can, you know, and I dropped a couple like Easter eggs, like, oh yeah, I can scream like Peter Criss did when he sang. He's kind of got that James Brown rasp. Like, all right, well, come on down for an audition. So then my dad drove me, and I walk in, and like, just by the way, I'm like 17. Like, well, let's hear you play. And, like, I played, and they're like, okay, you're in the band, dude. But you're 17.
Man.
Wow.
And like, I don't say that as like a brag thing, but it's the whole idea of like working really hard.
Yes. Yes.
Spending the hours in the basement after school, and like you come upstairs and you're soaking wet from sweat.
Yeah.
And you just work really hard and you really want something. But then you also have to be really self-critical and be willing to take some criticism. And fortunately for me, my dad being a drummer back in the day, it's like, you know, maybe you could like work on that a little bit, or maybe
Right.
Yeah.
let me show you this thing, or you know, I heard you were going for this. What if you try this? And like at the time, I'm like, yeah, Dad. And then I'd go to my room and then I'd think like, yeah, maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
And it just worked out. So then I got to play like bars at like 17 and 18. Well,
Wow.
everyone in like my class is probably like, man, I just want to like drink a beer. And like, I didn't care about the beer. I didn't
Yeah.
care about, you know, this or that, or the sex, drugs, rock and roll. Like,
Yeah.
I cared about the rock and roll.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Yeah.
But then, like, that led to a whole community in Milwaukee learning about this 17-year-old kid. And, like, at the time, I didn't drum like Peter Criss either. Like, I'm doing all the stick tricks and everything. But as cringy as that probably was to watch and go, this isn't a Kiss tribute, it worked out. And another band heard about me, and then it's like, this person heard about me, and I got to build a really big network.
That's crazy.
on that.
That's crazy.
And it's like, seriously, one opportunity leads to another,
Yeah.
and like word of mouth. But like, what do you got that's going on?
That's
And like,
crazy.
I don't say that in a way of like, I got it going on. Like,
Yeah.
but
I mean, you kind of do. 17 and like.
I mean, look at these pants, right? Like, who in their right mind would walk around with pants like
We're
these?
getting to those. We're getting
So,
to those.
you know, when you were 17 in this band, did you ever sit there and wonder if you deserved to be there? Did you ever have kind of that imposter syndrome that a lot of people go through?
This was quite possibly the nicest group of guys I have ever been in a band with.
Okay.
It was seriously like 4 Kiss nerds just geeking out in my basement, my parents' basement.
They went to your basement?
Yeah, I've always
Really?
when you're the drummer, you host practice. Like,
That's
fair.
so funny.
That's
I
the
mean,
rule.
That's
fair.
so funny though.
I don't want to pack my drums up. Like,
Yeah. Okay. That does
Drummer
make sense. See, I'm
hosts
not
the
I'm not a
practice.
music person, but
Yeah.
that's so funny. Like to be like, all right, we're heading to the 17-year-olds. I could just like imagine like the mom like come down with snacks and be like, "Do you boys need anything?"
Did she do that?
we would, time to time, I want to say, excuse me. There's your sound bite. Just, are you hitting record? Anyway, sorry. Time to time, it'd be like, hey guys, like, do you want to stick around for like pizza afterwards or something? Or like,
That's so sweet.
hey guys, like we got the grill on, so like, why don't we all
yeah.
have burgers? And we would hang out in my kitchen.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But like, I think about me as a 23-year-old hanging out with a 17-year-old. I would hang out with all my students. My students are the greatest. But then you add like 30 more years on that. But I think I'm not like every 17-year-old. Like, what 17-year-old likes Kiss? Like, not many.
yeah.
Sure.
And to the like obsessive nature that I did,
Yeah.
where you could have a full-fledged conversation about anything. And I got to meet up. Strangely enough, I was telling you guys that the Paul in that band lives in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
The Gene
Yeah.
from that Kiss tribute frequents Nashville as like payment for his customers. He sells steel, and he's like, "Hey, we're all going to go to Nashville for a trip." And I met up with him. He's like, "Dude, you're one of the only people who I know that I can have a 3-hour conversation about Gene Simmons' codpiece, like in detail." I'm like,
Okay.
John, it's great. Like, this is exactly like, this is great.
And I love that you still keep up. Well, it sounds like you at least still keep up with some of them, right?
Well, it goes back to like, you're looking for like advice, and if you can try and keep up with people. But I
you
feel
never
like,
know when you're going to
well,
run
yeah,
back into them and
but
get
like
something.
these guys were so nice.
Yeah.
Like, so nice. And they would send breakdowns of our show, like monetary breakdowns. Never had that. I've still never had that in any other band. Now, granted, I was in the band. A lot of situations now I'm like for hire.
Yeah.
But in the bands I've been in, it was just like pulling teeth. Like, well, what am I getting paid? Well, why do you need to know? I'm like, well, gee, I don't know, because it's my job. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
So-
I pay bills with this money.
So, I mean, that's also really great. Like at 17, you're already making some sort of money, from that, which that's
got
just
to, like-
really cool. That's a really cool story.
Got to pay for driver's ed. Got to
Yeah.
pay for prom.
Yeah.
Pay for stuff.
Did you go in like full Kiss costume for prom?
No. But I did wear wacky tuxes. I was a big fan of the tux with tails, like the Butler tux.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
The Alfred style.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
Yeah.
first year I went with a black Alfred style tux, and my date had pink, so I had a pink vest. And then the next year I went, well, how am I going to up the ante on the black? Like, that was pretty spectacular. So then I got a white tux with tails.
Love it so much.
That is
So
a statement.
much. I love a
That
white
is a
tux.
statement. And then my long black hair, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you had it even back then
I've had basically the same hair for,
since birth.
no, I wish.
Came out looking like that.
Yeah. Came out just
No,
rocking out to
I
Kiss.
did not. But like 10 years, I don't know.
I
Long
love
time.
that. Oh man. That's just a really cool story.
But not to cut you off, keeping up with people who are nice
Yeah.
and making friends. And I don't know, like, how many people have you, I don't know if you guys do this, you wish someone a happy birthday on like Messenger or Facebook or something, and then they just don't get back to you. You're like, I don't want to say that like wasted time, but I feel like in the music industry you can chase someone around a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
is it worth the time?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not.
So how many Kiss tribute bands were you a part of?
I was a part of 3.
Okay.
How many other bands were you a part of?
Yes.
Are we counting like on a monetary standpoint or just in general?
Just in general.
So we got middle school band. We'll go through the names too. Toxic
yes.
Solution.
Okay.
My dad named most of these bands.
I love that.
Named for middle school band was Toxic Solution. High school band was Muscle of Love.
Oh.
Then I joined the Kiss tribute, the first Kiss tribute I was in, and then I joined a band. It was like an 80s tribute called Bad Medicine. There's actually some other bands that were like kind of in there, like in my high school years, but they just like, it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So we don't count those. But so we got Bad Medicine. And then I was in a original band called Bellevue Suite. Then I was in a cover band, like top 40 band called the Cheap Shots. And then I joined around that time another Kiss tribute. Then from that Kiss tribute, I joined the world's best Kiss tribute. Like in the world, like fan voted, like it was like a contest thing. They're like,
nice.
It's pretty cool.
That's
then,
crazy. I'm like, you're so like nonchalant about this, and I'm like, that's the best. That's so cool to me.
It's cool, but then I could see someone go like, oh really? The world's best Kiss tribute band, huh?
Oh no, I would be all over that. I just think that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm the world's best guy at eating Cool Ranch Doritos. Like, you know, it's like, it's a big deal, but I could see where someone would go, yeah, but it's a lot of like, it's a very niche thing. So
it is.
I am
but
probably
I really
severely
like niche
downplaying
things.
this. It was a wonderful experience. I learned so much, and I played beautiful venues, played theaters, casinos, and like wonderful fans. It was really cool, like very top notch.
Yeah.
Very professional. We got treated really well. We didn't like, if we were treated unfairly, our boss was very like outspoken about like,
That's good.
yeah, no, that's not.
That's good.
No, like you're disrespecting us, and
So,
that's not going to be tolerated.
Did you ever like? I don't know anything about tribute bands, and I wouldn't. We won't spend too much time on this, but I do just want to know like, has Kiss ever like mentioned any of these bands? Is it okay?
Before I joined the world's best, they to become the world's best, they entered a contest that Kiss put on in partnership with their mini golf course that opened in Vegas.
Okay.
Love that.
Which, if you have not been, is very cool.
Okay.
I feel like a non-Kiss fan could even really appreciate the thought that went into it. And it's glow in the dark too.
Question. You know how like a lot of mini golf places have like the windmill and you gotta like put up the windmill? Do they have one of like Gene Simmons like that? And that's what you got?
yes,
That's the
that's
18.
so cool.
I love that. That's great.
so cool.
That's great.
It goes up his tongue and into his mouth.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like for real,
They have,
for real?
like- yes, I'm not.
Okay.
You could pull up a picture, but they got like giant boots and everything. It's so cool.
Okay.
It's everything you would want the mini golf course to be. And now they have Gene Simmons' personal Kiss collection on display there. So if you do not know,
It's amazing.
it is just endless glass cases of everything because he saved everything. So
That's amazing.
you're looking at a band that's been around for 50 years. This man
Yeah.
saved everything.
Yeah.
You can go there and see it. It's very cool. So the band I was in entered this contest, and there were supposedly 200 submissions. So it sounded to me like us four just decided in this room, like, all right, we're going to enter, and we're just going to say we're a Kiss tribute band, you know, and like, we'll get masks or something. Like, but the band I ended up being a part of took it very seriously. And another band who's in Budapest, Hungary, took it very, very seriously, and they flew all the way over here to compete. And it came down to 4 bands in Las Vegas to compete, and the band I ended up joining won in 2012. And then, so I can't take credit for that.
Yeah.
But like the current guitarist of Kiss, Tommy Thayer, was the judge.
Okay.
So like by the grace of Kiss, like the band I was in was chosen. So like not to really be taken lightly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if
Yeah.
you're not a Kiss fan, I could easily see where someone would be like, okay, you know.
No.
That's
if
awesome,
you're
though.
out there
Great.
and you're thinking like, whatever, unsubscribe, get out, leave. We don't want you here. We're here with Sweet Baby Q.
Sweet Baby Q. Well, it just goes to like, I don't know, if you don't get it, then like move out of the way and like just respectfully understand, like just step aside and like everyone likes certain things. And
Did
that's
they
fine.
like for the world's best? Did they do like a like documentary or docu-series or anything? No,
No.
it was literally just like, okay, we're just gonna do this.
It sounds like they won and that was kind of it.
Okay,
Like, all right, we're going home.
pretty cool.
But it was put on Kiss's website for like
Okay.
a minute, and that's cool. But in 2020, yeah, during the lockdown, this, I don't know, this association or something called Tribute Wars started doing a series of, we're going to find the best tribute bands in the world. And it's going to be online, and we're just going to entertain people and make people happy. So they started with Kiss. So then naturally, we had entered that one. And then the same band from Hungary had entered that one. And it kind of came down to us two again.
Man.
Okay.
Again, I was
Hungry. Who would have thought?
They're the nicest guys.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a nemesis in the making.
I talked to the drummer, Radek, super cool guy, great drummer, great singer, and but it came down to us, and it was Charlie Benente from Anthrax was a judge, and all these all-star musicians were judges, and they decided on us, which was really cool.
That's amazing.
So I got to be a part of that, and
That's so cool.
for the second time got to be like the world's best Kiss tribute.
That's so cool. And you're just like, yeah,
cool.
so we won. That's so cool. It's
cool.
Oh my gosh. I would be, I'd be like, hi, I'm Quinton, and I'm part of the world's best tribute band, by the way.
Yeah, but then
And-
people are like, well, man, you guy's super cocky.
No, that's fair. But like I said, narcissist.
By the way, I don't like Kiss. Like, you know, they would
So
tell
what?
you.
Here's
Hey,
my thing.
Hey, have you seen Gene Simmons' Family Jewels? You seen that show?
I don't even. So my dad is a huge Kiss fan. So
Really?
yes.
And
so
you just tell me now?
I know. I was like
Your dad's not here?
when we started talking about it, I was like, oh my god,
coming in the door right behind yours,
Send him
you know?
this interview. But I grew up like liking Kiss. He's also from like middle and like small town West Virginia, and his dad, when he like really started getting into rock music, his dad was like not into it, and finally they also did not have a lot of money, and he like begged his dad for the new Kiss CD, and his dad finally broke and was like, okay, I'm gonna go buy you it. And he like picks it up, looks at the back, and sees Gene Simmons like spitting out blood, and was like, nope. And he didn't get it, but it's fine. He's all good now.
Gramps.
I know.
Come on.
But so I grew up like knowing who they were. I'll be honest, I don't know a ton of their songs and then some of the popular ones, but like I've always loved like the aesthetic of them and just like the crazy costumes. And I want to see what your previous Halloween costumes have been, because like I love Halloween too. Also, I've done my Halloween costumes.
We would do like family ones.
Yeah.
And they this has nothing to do with music now.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, I just was gonna say, like, I will need to get some pointers for you, because I wanted to do a Kiss costume one year, and then I like was like, this is gonna be too much for me. Like, I don't understand how
I
to
could
do this.
absolutely help you,
So
but I would like
I may be hitting you up in the future.
Like it would be like very we would be festering.
Yes. Okay, so as far as going back to like the creative process, are you like, how do you get back past a mental block of creativity?
You know, I'm at a point now where I think the body wants what the body wants. And that's a horrible kind of stupid cliche. But when I do have ideas, I like having notebooks, and I like writing down my ideas in notebooks.
Yeah.
Because I can always revisit it later. So I'll write, you know, like for Phase, and for instance, it's like, all right, well, here's the drum kit. Here's the goal. Here's the visual idea. Here's this. Here's some ideas I have that I think could go well with the flange effect, because that came early on. And like, we're going to leave it. We're going to let it marinate for a bit. And then I'll come back to it and kind of try to chip away at it. And then maybe I got to get on the drum kit and try something. But, you know, if I feel like burnt out, maybe you just take an off day.
Okay.
Maybe do something that is not musical related, because you can get so in your head.
Yeah.
So maybe you got to watch the Batman and Robin movie,
Yeah.
and you never know where inspiration might strike.
Okay.
But maybe you just have to work on something that you're not working on.
Yeah.
So like for my instance, it would be, well, maybe I just need to play some Journey songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
just for
Yeah.
funsies.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need to like play rudiments, or maybe there's a particular stick trick in my left hand that I'm not happy with how it's going, or I could get stronger at. So we'll spend time there, or just find something else
Right.
to work on if you feel like you have to work on something.
Right. Right.
So, we've talked a lot about, some bands that a lot of us would consider classics. Are there any modern bands that you're like, they have something going on that you're like, that's good?
Yeah. It's funny because my modern bands are all like 10 years or older.
Sure.
Like they've been around
Yeah.
for a while. I'm 10
Yeah.
years always behind what is popular.
That's
but
fair.
I will argue for days, years, months, like to the grave. Black Veil Bride's great band.
Okay. Okay.
They
Yep.
got it going on, imagery, musically. And that's probably the newest band. Maybe Ghost.
Okay.
Ghost is another one where it's just, they got it going on, man.
Okay.
They got the imagery and they have the music and the stage show. And if they're actually coming to Nashville this Sunday, I don't know when, this is not going to air by Sunday, but if you guys wanted to like go, like it would be worth going.
Yeah.
But Ghost is amazing. And then now we start getting past 10 years, like Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
That to me is still like a newer band.
Sure.
But
Sure.
they've been around since '99.
What
So-
other do you like? What other genres do you like of music?
I mean, I like a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And I think it is important to listen to everything, especially if you. I don't know what anyone's musical path is, but for my instance, being more of like a hired drummer type of guy, knowing a little bit of everything
Yeah.
can be really helpful, because you might be thrown into a situation where you're playing a style that is not your bread and butter.
I'm also
So-
trying to picture you like as a country drummer right now.
Do you want to hear a crazy story? Like dude, it's wild. The night I released Phase, so let's back up. It's 7 a.m. and I wake up on Thursday. And all the big bands release their music Thursday night, midnight Eastern Standard Time. So that is 11 a.m. our time, which would then be like 10 p.m. Pacific. So I was up at 7 a.m. I went for a run, and then I was doing whatever, and like, all right, waiting around till 11, so that way Phase can come out. I can make sure that it was scheduled correctly on YouTube and it's on Spotify, and then I can write up my post and do that whole thing and share it, so that way hopefully when all of us humans wake up the next day, like, whoa, dude, Quinton's new solo's here, right on. I'm going to listen to this in the car on the way to work. So I'm doing all that, and I don't usually stay up super late. Like midnight is kind of my tap out usually. But I was up until 2 a.m. and this message came through from the drummer network on Nashville. Hey guys, I am severely ill, and if anyone is up and can help, I have a gig, a country gig that is leaving at 5 a.m. Like in 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours.
For Iowa City, Iowa, for a doubleheader weekend.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, like, I'll bite. Like, so I messaged the guy like, hey man, can you just tell me what the deal is, what the specs of the gig are? So he's like, well, it's about 60 songs, country songs. So like, if you played Broadway at any of the country bars, you would be set. All right, can you send the set list? Yeah, here's the set list. What's the pay going to be? And he told me the pay, but it was kind of blurred lines as to if that number was per show or for the whole weekend. And looking through these songs, and I thought it would be wise to count all the songs I had at least known or heard. Because when I was in that top 40 band,
Okay. Yeah.
the Cheap Shots, we would play like Chicken Fried. We would play
Yeah.
Country Girl and
Yeah.
then Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
Yes.
Because it's a party song.
Yep.
Country.
So I knew those three, and then I knew maybe like 3 Taylor Swift tunes, and then like OG Taylor Swift, and then like maybe one other one. And like, all right, dude, I know 13 of the 60. He's like, I think you can do it. You'll be fine. I'm like, I'm like looking for a pep talk here now because it's like time is ticking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like asking all these questions. And he's like, finally, he's like, Duke, man, I just got to know if you can do it. And I thought, I moved here to take gigs. I didn't move here to sit in my bedroom and converse about a gig.
Yeah.
So I went, heck with it. We're going to take the gig. The singer was not responding, but I had the set list. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm pulling an all-nighter at this point. If we remember back, I was up at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're leaving at 5 a.m.
Uh-huh.
to ride to Iowa City, which is about an 8-hour drive from here. And I'm listening to these songs, and I'm like, well, now I got to pack. You know, like I got to find out what I'm wearing. Like, I've never played a country gig before. This is probably not what a country artist would want to see on stage.
Yeah.
You know, and then also had to pack certain gear. The traditional thing is cymbals, snare, pedals, sticks. And by the time I got everything packed, it was like 4 a.m. And I just got the tunes on in the background, and I sit down and I start charting out the tunes. And what charting out is, the Nashville number system is basically you write out intro and then you put a number next to it. Like, how many times is that intro going about? Well, 4 times. Okay, now we got verse. That's 8 times, and then yada yada. And got maybe 2 songs in. It's like, well, it's 4:30, and that Starbucks that's kind of on the way opens, and I need a mocha, man, with like 6 shots of espresso, an unbelievable amount of. So I am like waiting at the drive-thru, and it was like 4:31 hit, and then I heard, "Come on, hi, welcome to Starbucks. Can I take your order?" You people know I was here. We could have just done this. I could have taken care of this already. But grab the drink, book it to this dude's house, and then I get the text from him. Hey, brother, I'm running late. Like, on one hand, I'm like, oh, dude, I could have been in my house. And then on the other hand, I'm like, nope, this forces me now to listen to the songs more.
Yeah.
And become a little more acquainted, because there were also some original tunes, and I really wanted to try my best to nail the original tunes.
Right.
So he got there, I think, an hour late.
Ooh.
And I'm more concerned about like the arrival time to Iowa City, because then you're going to hit traffic, and I'm going to have to pee, because I drank 6 shots worth of espresso with milk and milk. So then I charted out all the songs in the car ride on the way there, and got to the gig. And at this point, we're setting up, and I'm feeling like really kind of dizzy. And like, look, guys, I'm not trying to be a diva. I'm not like this, but if I don't eat now, like I need to eat now.
Yeah.
So we walked to Jimmy John's, got food, and like to follow up, I'm not like this, but I need to go lay down.
Yeah.
Because I had been up for like 36 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna want a drummer for your show. So I laid down for maybe an hour and a half, and then we went and we did the show for 3 hours.
Dang.
And then got back, and then I was just like,
wow.
And I don't say that in a way of like bragging. I forget why I even sold this. Oh, because you're like, oh, you never played a country
drummer.
gig.
But even then, that's another good example of like taking an opportunity and going with it, and like that is why you are able to do what you do full time.
And accept a challenge. Do something out of your comfort zone.
Yes, which is something we talk about all the time. So you're just a really good example. We're going to take another quick break. We have a few more questions, and then we're going to do show and yell.
Have you been enjoying Successfully Unsigned? Then check out all of our other content on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and everywhere you can stream podcasts. Don't forget about our exclusive artist interviews and performances right here with Successfully Unsigned. Join us and like, comment, follow, subscribe, share with all of your friends, and tell us what your thoughts are about being an artist in the music industry.
And we're back!
And we're back.
And we're back.
Don't copy me. Actually, I copied him.
I'm copying the man in the middle chair here.
And
in
we
the cool
got
chair.
back! Baby got back.
Always.
Is that what was that? That's from Applebee's?
Yeah, and they might have used it.
You mean
No,
you
but
mean Baby Got Back by
No,
Sir
I'm so-
Mix-a-Lot?
I'm talking about the ad campaign.
Oh, you're talking about Baby
Baby
Back
Back Ribs. Baby Back, Baby
Chili's.
Back.
That's Chili's.
Is it Chili's? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not even the same song though.
But it's like the same concept.
What if a president used "Baby Got Back" in like as their song campaign?
I mean,
And they'd probably win at
you know,
this point.
well, they all got bad backs because they old. So,
So do you.
yes.
We
Literally,
just talked about
I had
that,
to like
all of
pop
us.
his back earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am, like I said, I'm obsessed with your aesthetic.
Thank you.
Like, just everything about it is just so cool, and I love that you just like completely run with it. And we're gonna do a bit of a fit check for you, but we're also gonna do it for me. Once again, I said narcissist. So I wore my Beetlejuice shirt because you, and it's funny you brought up Tim Burton, but I was like, oh well, he just like had this whole phase. And so I was like, I'll wear this, and then like I had a spiky necklace, and that's pretty much all I had. But it's what I had. But I want to talk about your outfit. Also, he gave us merch, and it's
We're
so
talking
cool.
about a fit check. We all have matching shirts now.
Yes,
Mine just has chest hair
With-
and
with
Yours
his
don't.
logo. Which, by the way, like I want to talk about your logo real quick. Like, where did that come from, or is it literally just like, did you hire someone to design it, or did you just make it up?
I was making business cards on Vistaprint,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted a Q on there, of course. So found a font that had a Q that was very similar to this one here.
Okay.
But the tip was a box. It was more
Oh,
squared
yeah.
off. So, like, I don't. It could be a little more like not metal, but
Yeah.
a little more
Hardcore.
edgy.
Yeah.
So I kind of drew up what I wanted, and I sent it to a friend. I was like, "Could you like make this happen by chance?" Because I learned that she wanted to be a graphic designer. She's like, "Yeah, I'll do it. Like, this would be great."
That's so cool.
So then she got this back to me with the whole point and everything. And I believe we changed up the centers a little bit too, and that's how that came to be. And
Okay.
then now my fiance kind of rebooted it
Very
because
cool.
the file was a little
Yeah.
messy. But
As far as phase goes, like with the black and white stripe, I know you mentioned a very 70s kind of style and look. Do you, I also saw like, so you were selling the drum kit
Yeah.
as like signed and stuff? I don't know.
So I
was
wasn't
curious about
signing
that.
it. The initial kind of catalyst for the whole solo was that with my move to Nashville, this drum kit is actually my dad's.
Okay.
And he picked it up because he's like, this thing is striking.
It's beautiful.
And it is.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you not look at this kit?
Yeah.
So like, he's like, well, look, I kind of leveled with him like, you know, you haven't played this kit. And I know you would probably rather have the money from the kit than the kit itself. So he's like, well, if you can sell it, then, you know, that's great.
That's amazing.
And it obviously did not sell, but the idea.
Go buy the drum kit. It's so cool. It's literally
expensive,
so cool.
But it's worth it.
It's worth it, 100%. I don't even know how much it is, but I know it's worth it.
It's expensive, but it's not that expensive though. But either way, the idea was, can I just like. I used it in a music video
Yeah.
once, but I never really got to tune it up and play it how it was intended to
Yeah.
be played.
Right.
Like, well, we had the kit, so let's not just waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not just like
Right.
not have put it in the rotation for something.
Yes.
So,
Yes. It was perfect for it.
Yeah.
And then I also, like I said, I want to do a fit check. Can you stand up real quick? Show
I can.
Show the people your pants and all the patches.
Yep.
Um,
Who should I look at?
whichever one. You're in both. You're the star of the show. So I see Batman. I see Halloween. I love the Halloween movies. Kiss, of course. A whole bunch of like Halloween stuff. Like just normal Halloween. Like I said, we'll need to do a fashion show sometime. But yeah. Did you make those?
Oh my gosh, I'm all tangled up. I shouldn't have spun around. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, this is not an uncommon thing,
Right.
right? Like, you look up any 80s guy and he's got patchy pants. So what really the problem is that I had a bleach stain like right here.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, well, we could just make patch pants because that bleach stain ain't coming out. So then I went a little overboard with the patches, but I'm like, well,
It works. It works.
It's like
so
they're
well.
my Q pants.
Yes.
So
Yes, I love the giant Q on it.
I had
too.
like, well, we got to get a giant varsity Q because that's super 80s.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like this is for Motley Crue. I love Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
This one just looks cool. I like heart stuff
Yeah.
because
So
that.
other than well, obviously like your look is very inspired like 80s, but other than maybe Kiss or 80s, like is there other inspirations for your look and aesthetic?
like bring it back to Black Veil Bride's lead vocalist Andy Viersack's very fashion orientated, but their look changes each album. But in all honesty, it's like it's just weird, right? And like I love rock stars,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there just aren't a ton of like pop stars look weird, right? Like you look at Machine Gun Kelly, like you just can't stop staring because he wears just the craziest
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So like, where's that going on?
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, I used to be a little more flamboyant. Now I'm a little more like, let's wear stuff every day. But it's still shocking. Like I want to walk through a mall and like have people go, that guy must be famous or something. Like
Period. Oh, I love that. I love that.
There's an agenda.
Yes. Yes.
But
I love that.
I want to bring it back to the fact that like you can look cool all you want, but you don't want to be a poser.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yep.
someone might watch the solo and go, man, dude, you're a total poser. And like the goal of this solo today was just like purely emotion based, off the cuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And musicians know you play different in a different room. Like this room had some sick echo on it. Drums were tuned wide open, and you just play a little different. But people might misconstrue like, well, this dude like looks like he's in LA Guns and like played like crap. But you know, if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, then
leave.
That's unfortunate. But I tell my students too,
Yeah.
because some of them will ask, like, well, what about stick tricks? What about like this double bass thing? Like, you gotta be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'll still
Foundation.
get the gig
Yes.
being a great drummer,
Yeah.
but this has to come secondary.
Yes. 100%.
Gotta have the
100%.
foundation
So I
first.
just try to preach that.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to put the cart before the horse.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Very
And when
true.
you're plotting in a notebook, you can obviously put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the visual elements can inspire the musical elements.
Yes. Yeah.
But you can't don't spend $100 on an outfit and then not
Yeah.
use it.
See, and that's my problem. If I was an artist, I would really only care about the looks. I wouldn't care about the music. So,
You do that
I don't
now.
think so.
pretty much.
You
pretty
do
much.
that now.
So, speaking of your wonderful drum kit, let's do our show and yell.
Showing yo!
Okay, so pick up your item, show it off, yell it.
I'm a little bummed that you guys didn't bring something to this.
Quinton merch. That's my show and yell.
What a kiss.
SSL console.
No.
It's not mine. It was already here.
Okay, talk about.
Patrick, you're too kind on that. But so my show and yell.
Yell it.
Yell, it's a snare drum.
Woo!
But it's really the whole drum kit.
Behind us.
So I was gonna bring some Batman Kiss thing, but I couldn't fit a poster in the car. But like what means a lot to me is Kiss and Batman. Obviously, this whole interview is just Kiss and Batman.
And that's okay.
And then thirdly, drums. And the reason I brought this drum kit is it's a special drum kit, and that is because, well, first of all, look at it. It's beautiful.
I know. I love
Like you just can't
glittery.
stop staring, and in different light sources,
Yes, iridescent.
it looks different. So growing up,
Yeah,
gonna
hold
just-
it up a little bit, or if
should I
you
hold
need
it on
me
my
to.
shoulder? So growing up, oh my gosh, there was a music store called Uncle Bob's that I ended up working at. But at the time, I was like just a kid who just wanted to play drums. And this guy, like old school music store, this guy, his name is Jeff Zanoni. He would chain smoke upstairs and is like straight out of like.
Somebody like chain smokers always
80s.
around you.
And but the nicest guy, I would chalk it up to be like the David Lee Roth drummer, because David Lee Roth has some serious energy. And most drummers knew, like, if you wanted some drum stuff, you'd go to see Jeff because he could custom order things and everything. But one day we walked in, and he was known for having crazy drum kits from time to time, big, massive drum sets. And I saw this kit sitting on like the stage light area of the music store. I'm like, dude, what is that kit? He's like, Q, you'd look really good on that kit. And you tell that to everybody, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
13-year-old me's like, I would look good on that kit, wouldn't I? But the kit kind of sat for a while.
Yeah.
And every time we'd go visit, I would like tell my dad, I'm like, the kit though. Like,
Yeah.
that is a statement.
Yes.
And I knew it would sound good because it's made of wood, it's maple walnut, but that didn't really matter to me. I'm like, I'll make it sound just fine. I'll hit
Yeah.
hard, I'll hit however I need to, it'll sound good. But the finish, like, if we get into the specs of it, it's discontinued. It's called Laser Ivory. This is a Mapex Saturn kit. It's the Saturn 3. And they made this finish in this silvery color and then also in a black color. And the black color is almost even more striking than the silver because it looks like stars in the sky.
Yeah.
Is beautiful. This looks like just crazy. And I'm kind of a crazy guy. So, but the kit as we saw, it was pretty much set up like that. And finally, when I joined that top 40 band, I'm like, this would really be the perfect kit
Yes,
for that. Like,
yes,
this is so
100%.
top 40. And maybe my parents bought it for me. And someone
Yeah.
might roll their eyes like, oh, rich kid. Like, no, my parents worked hard for the money. And they were super supportive. So either way,
So
Got
how
the
long
kit.
have you had it then?
oh, God. 2015?
Okay.
So I don't know how many years that is.
Almost 10 years.
Almost
In
10
2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
What is there to say? So where is the special part of it? Well, it looks amazing. I bought it from Jeff, and then Jeff hired me when I graduated high school to be a drum instructor at the store. I had no students, and every other place I went to would turn me down because I didn't have a list of students. Like, well, how am I supposed to have a list
Right.
if I don't have a place to teach?
Right.
So he's like, I don't care. Like, you got a
Yeah.
room. This is your home. Happy to have you. And I can't even drink yet. Am I qualified to be teaching people? But I went for it anyway. And I finally worked up a bit of a roster. And then he's like, hey, you know, if you want to work here, you can work here. Like,
Nice.
Nice.
all right. Like,
Yeah.
I could use more money. So
Shout out to Jeff.
got to, well, it gets worse. So I got to spend some time with him, and like, he would give you advice and everything. And then I had to leave the store because if you're chain smoking upstairs and you have children coming upstairs, like, not a good combo. So then I
Yeah.
went and I taught somewhere else, but just a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he had some bad habits, and he suffered from a couple heart attacks.
Oh.
And then he ended up dying a couple years ago.
Oh.
And the whole drummer community in Milwaukee, just like, what a loss, man. Because
Yeah.
he really was just
Yeah.
like, had everyone's best interest
Yeah.
in mind and like wanted to
That's
be your
amazing.
friend and take care of you. So I don't want to like end this on a sad note or anything, but like, when you were thinking about like
Yeah.
showing yo, this came to mind because drums have always been there for me when maybe someone else hasn't been. And that's what music is. Music
Yes.
will always be
Yes.
there for you. An instrument will always be there for you. And Jeff was always there for me. Jeff gave me a smoking deal on the kit. And I
No
think
pun
that's because he really wanted me to have the kit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, no
Meant
one
for
else in
you.
this town is going to look as sexy on that kid as you are.
Oh yeah.
So that's where we're at. And
Awesome.
that's my show. And yo,
All right. So I saw you going on tour with HALOCENE.
HALOCENE.
All right. And so go check that. Go plug all the things.
Going on tour with HALOCENE, September, I want to say 7th to October 6th. We're playing the U.S. And then I got
What's
a month off.
Instagram, Spotify.
Yeah, you can check them out on Instagram. We do Twitch streams Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm not
What's
in-
your Instagram?
My Instagram, at Quinton Kufahl. You can find, you just punch in my name, you'll find me.
Yeah.
Facebook is different, it's Quinton Kufahl Official. But if you punch in my name, it'll be in credits, I'd imagine, or in the title. You spell it right, you'll find where I'm at.
All right.
Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being on the show.
Yeah.
Or not. Oh man. Thanks for having me.